All right, welcome back to Bayou Time. Chuck Bourque is with us today. Exciting news. Close Up is here again. Chuck, how are you?
I'm good, Martin. How you been?
And y'all been doing this for quite some time, Close Up. And obvious question, why do you do it each and every year?
Again, Martin, like I've said every year, Close Up's a wonderful trip. It gives the students at the local schools a chance to go to Washington, D.C. and see how our government works. And, I hear that at times from people of, well, the government's crazy, there's this, that, and the other. At the end of the day, if you give a high school student an opportunity to go to the capital of this great nation, look and see behind the scenes, see how it works, it gets them excited about things, it makes them want to participate more, and I think that's a great thing.
But when you're handing out these checks, you're always smiling. You're doing a great deed for people. Where'd you get that from?
Well, it's something, as I've told you before, my parents were very generous to me growing up. They gave me everything I could, or everything they could, but they couldn't do it all for me. And I had an opportunity to go to Close Up when I was in high school, and in part because I got a grant from somebody. And I'm not going to take credit for starting this program. It's something that Mike St. Martin did, and one of the numerous programs our firm gives back to the community. When I heard about it, that's one of the things I've always said. Chris and I want to make sure this program continues because we know what it does for the community. We know what it does for the kids who are, that 1 or 2 students a year who are given a little extra boost that may be given an opportunity to go because of our donation.
I see the famous Joe Jevick right next to you, one of the attorneys at your firm. Joe, what does this mean for you?
Well, Martin, it's always great to be involved in this program to give back to the community. But to give the high school students a chance to go see how government works. It's something that I wish I could have done when I was in high school, but being able to assist through the firm to have these students be able to go up to Washington and see what's going on, it's a great opportunity for them, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Well, thank you. And I got to ask Chuck before we get to some of our guests here, how was Close Up? What did you learn, Chuck? That's my question.
Actually, Martin, what I learned was there's a whole great world beyond where I was growing up. And to see everything that goes on behind the scenes of the government, it doesn't happen just because somebody's snapping their fingers. And then the other part of it is to go up there and in person see some of these buildings and see some of these locations that you're reading about in your history books. It did. It made me a little bit more excited to come back and go back to class and learn more about it.
Good. All right, let's meet some of our guests if we can. So I'm going to get our crew to establish. Say you see in the third seat is Justin Ward from H.L. Bourgeois High School. Justin, good to have you on board.
Thank you for having us.
And John Hazlitt from Ellender Memorial High School. John, good to see you.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, so Justin, what does this mean when a firm like St. Martin and Bourque hand you a check and kids can go to Close Up? It's a big deal, isn't it?
Yes, it's a very big deal. We're still kind of, in the aftermath of Hurricane Ida. And so we've had a lot of problems with kids being able to afford different opportunities like this. And so this is the second time since the storm that St. Martin and Bourque has provided funds to help some of the kids be able to go. Last year, H.L. Bourgeois was able to actually send 2 kids who did not have to pay a cent because of just generous donations from places like St. Martin and Bourque. And so to be able to do that again this year, to be able to provide funds for a kid who might not be able to cover the whole cost is absolutely wonderful. And of course, like they said, Close Up is just such a worthwhile opportunity. And H.L. Bourgeois has been traveling for Close Up on and off for the last 50 years. And so to be able to bring it back finally has been a great, great opportunity for me.
And John, let me turn to John Hazlitt. Especially for kids, like everyone's saying here, who can't really afford it. And plus, we just had COVID and Hurricane Ida, and people are still recovering, especially in your area for sure, and of course, all across this parish. It's got to mean a lot to you.
It means a lot. Last year, we were able to go up there and we talked to people from Representative Scalise's office, and the kids were able to get their opinions and their feelings about what was happening down here and what wasn't happening down here after the storm. And they also got to meet with Senator Cassidy and talk to him about a few things. So they actually get to meet people from the government and voice their opinion that they get heard for a change. Sometimes they don't hear them. And donations like this help our kids a lot because it's tough to get our kids from Ellender on these trips. Just the financial part of it is, and we're just able to get more and more kids going, and it's just through support from firms like St. Martin and Bourque and other places in the area that want to get these kids out there. And for us, a lot of our kids, it's the first time they leave Houma when they go on this trip, and it's a big thing.
So Chuck, with about a minute left, what does it mean when you hear students that come back and they become big shots in their field, but they went to close-up? It's got to make you and Joe and Chris and everybody else and Beth, who's in the audience, feel pretty good about what y'all have done.
It does, Martin, because that's a big thing about what we do. You've always heard me say it. This community has given a lot to us. We like to have an opportunity to give back to the community. And the close-up trip is one of those ones where you can see the immediate effect of it. You're making a donation that's helping the kid go on the trip. And it's something we like doing. We like putting the word out there that we're doing it to encourage other businesses and other folks in this community to give, because it has a real impact, it has an immediate impact, and we hear the stories about all the things these kids learn on these trips. It makes it even more exciting for us.
All right, we're going to go to a break, but we're setting up, first of all, Justin and John. In the third segment, he's actually going to hand you a check. So it's going to be a cashable check. Close up, here again, St. Martin and Bourque giving out checks to the participating schools. Vanderbilt Catholic and Doug Hamilton are here today. Doug, welcome to the program. How are you?
Thank you, Martin. Really glad to be here. Thank you to St. Martin and Bourque for having us, and thank you for hosting us.
Doug always had that radio voice, like, but he's got that unique voice. So Doug, tell me, for Vanderbilt, especially we talked in the previous segment about COVID and Hurricane Ida, and y'all have had a lot of damage too at the school, and a lot of the families who are participating have had a lot of damage. These are the kind of things from St. Martin and Bourque that help people take a deep breath and get them a good education and a little enjoyment along the way.
That's correct. I think the opportunity to go to Washington, D.C., I would echo what the previous guests have said. I would add a little bit to it in that we were kind of disappointed at Vanderbilt because we had been one of the schools that had been participating since Chuck was born, basically, right? And so when first COVID hit and then the hurricane hit, we had the opportunity to go last year, but many of our parents said, because some of the rules were still in place, we chose not to go again. Because when we go, it is such an opportunity for the kids. It's also an opportunity for the teachers. I was actually texting with one of the teacher leaders last week, and he's been there for a long time. We brought him some good Louisiana hot sauce. He really appreciated that. But a lot of people don't know that teachers going to this program is a big deal. I know in my classes it was a lot. It was fun to get some of that information and bring it back to the students.
I never thought about that. You make a good point. We'll go to Archie now, at Archie Adams at South Terrebonne. Doug made a good point. This is just as fun for the teachers that go as it is for the students, and teachers can always learn too, can't they?
Yeah, and it's the contacts you make is important to teachers from this last time we went 11 states. And, you compare notes, and this is how we do this is how we approach this or teach this, and that goes a long way, too, bringing back information that's going to help even the kids that didn't go on the trip but could still benefit them in the classroom. We lucked out this last go-around because we go later. We go in the spring, not so much in the winter, and the masks were, like, just leaving. Like, we just hit it right, which I thought was great because we got to go to some of the places that people couldn't go just 2 or 3 months before that. So we hit it just right, and we benefited from the timing of it.
Yeah. Chuck, I want to come back to you. I see Beth in the audience, and look, she always makes me swear I'm not going to put her on TV. Well, I won't, but I'm going to mention her name, and I know you know, as one of the senior partners over there, it's got to be great. She does a lot of work organizing this.
Yeah, Martin, Beth is one of those who does a lot of work, does a lot of things to help us out. Not that we want to give her too much credit, because then I'll hear about it for the next couple of months. But no, all kidding aside, Beth's always great. She gets things done. You know, one of those people behind the scenes who, if she wasn't there, we may not have this program. Because as much as we want to do it, we don't always get things organized, and Beth does a great job with that. And that's, I got to give her credit on that.
Yeah. And Joe, let me come to you before I get some final comments from our guests. To do the logistical things that St. Martin and Bourque does, not only on this, we have Christmas, we have giveaways, we have all kind of things during the year. You got to buy into this, and you got to be a part of it. And it's almost like being part of the firm, isn't it?
Well, definitely, and there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that nobody sees. Beth and the crew, they do a lot of work all year long, getting, whether it be for close-up or the Christmas projects or anything else the firm does, getting everything together and making sure we're on our toes and can take care of everybody with getting things done.
And let me ask you, Doug, because you're in that unique role at Vanderbilt of having to raise money, and that's a tough role, especially in a depressed economy. But to have steady donors year after year and people that you know they're going to be there, and I see the checks written ready to be handed out, it takes a lot of pressure off of people like you all who have to raise money, knowing that you have a pretty good solid source of funding for certain things that need to be done.
You're absolutely right. That consistency year after year, you know, I'll put in a plug for Miss Beth. Around this time, I'm expecting an email from her. Unfortunately, for me, this is probably going to be the last time that I'm involved because of my job. You know, my boss wants me to go ahead and raise money, but in this one, it's so easy because St. Martin and Bourque have made it that way. It's literally an email, come to their office, to HTV, and they hand you a check. You know, as far as my job, I don't look at this as part of my job. It's just something I appreciate very much from them.
And Archie, we got about 40 seconds left. I'll let you finish.
It's so important what they do, St. Martin and Bourque and others, because, you know, I've been doing it a long time, and you run into kids that you may have taken on the trip 10 years before, and we sit there and we talk about the close-up trip. So it's something that stays with them the rest of their life, so it's extremely important, and we can't thank y'all enough.
It's that segment now where St. Martin and Bourque will present checks for close-up to the participating schools. So Chuck Bourque and Joe Jevick of St. Martin and Bourque are here. And let's get a shot up here. We have lined up, ready to go. Chuck is going to hand over a check to Mr. Justin Ward from H.L. Bourgeois.
Justin, thanks for all that you do with the kids.
Thank you.
Okay.
Unbelievable. Okay, and we'll get Justin to have a seat because we're going to ask him a few things in a second. And then we're going to bring up John Hazlitt from Ellender Memorial High School.
John, again, I appreciate all you do with the kids. I know it's a tough job and not everybody's want to do it, but I'm glad you do it, and it makes us happy to contribute to this program.
Thank you for helping out our students.
All right, very good. Well, sometimes Chuck looks like Santa Claus when he's handing all that stuff out. All right, we're going to bring up Doug Hamilton from Vanderbilt Catholic High School to receive his check.
Doug, again, I thank you. Thank you for all that you do for the kids.
Thank you, Chuck. Appreciate it.
All right, very good. And last, of course, but not least, we just went in the order as it was scripted. Archie Adams from South Terrebonne High School. Archie, come on up.
Again, Archie, thanks to you for all that y'all do with the kids. We appreciate it, and look forward to hearing some good stories next year about the kids going on their trip this year.
All right, thank you from the swamp.
All right.
All right, there you go. And of course, Terrebonne High School also receives a check, and that is Miss Leslie Davenport. Unfortunately, she could not make it today, but they are receiving a check. So I thought we have a little bit time left, so I want to go through each participant again. And just, we talked a lot about close-up, but just tell us a little bit about the school in general. How's the school doing? And we'll start with Justin Ward from H.L. Bourgeois.
Well, it's a matter of pride at H.L. Bourgeois High School, and we are celebrating our 50th year this year. We have lots of fun things planned to bring back the history and the alumni of the school. We've gone through a lot of changes in administration. Terrebonne High just stole one of our stalwart principals, Mr. Richard Starr, but we're very excited for what he's going to do over there, and we're very excited about everything that's happening back at H.L. Bourgeois this year. It's been an incredible year, and we're looking forward to celebrating our 50th in style. And definitely inviting people, come check us out and see what we're doing and having going on at school, because it's going to be a great year.
So you're saying y'all getting old at H.L. Bourgeois?
We're 50 and fabulous at H.L. Bourgeois. We're not getting old, we're getting wiser and mature.
That's a good answer, Justin.
Yep. Uh-huh.
All right, we're going to move on, and thank you for being here. We appreciate that.
You're welcome, thank you.
We're going to move on to John Hazlitt from Ellender Memorial High School, and always said, Joni Petrie, my right-hand lady over here, she went to Ellender, so always putting out a lot of good students at Ellender.
We do our best over there, trying to put everything back together after what happened with Ida last year. We're not in the building, but we're on the campus this year, which is a good thing. And our motto is, it starts now, and we're stronger together. And that's what we've been doing this year, getting everything together and moving forward and taking it one day at a time this school year and enjoying with the facilities we are in now.
All right. Thank you so much, John, for being here. Doug Hamilton at Vanderbilt, who, by the way, his mom was one heck of a typing teacher. I did not have her at Vanderbilt when I got to Nichols and took typing. It was a disaster because I did not have his mom as a typing teacher, but she's helped a lot of people along the way.
Well, thank you so much for saying that about Mom. You know, she's part of the reason why I'm at Vanderbilt, you know. But our school, we're kind of blessed to be in the building. We were able to put together some things to where our students could be in the building, but we have a lot of recovery, and we're doing everything we can to take care of our students first. That means, you know, we want to get our kids as a normal as experience as possible. Close-up is one of those things that Vanderbilt's been doing since 1972, I believe. And so the idea of being able to participate and give our kids, you know, a sense of normalcy. We have homecoming coming up in a couple of weeks, so hope to see you there as a Terrier. But we're excited to be in the building and kind of moving on and doing the best we can.
Thank you, Doug. And we're going to move on once again to Archie Adams at South Terrebonne. Y'all coming straight off a baseball championship along with Vanderbilt, but that had to feel good.
We had a ceremony just a couple of days ago for the baseball team, and kind of what we said and what we truly believe is, it was rough last year with the schedule that we had, and you know, we get home at 6:30, and you know, thanks to the good people like Justin, because I shared his classroom at H.L. Bourgeois. But that baseball season was kind of magical, like to just get us at the end of the year when people just was out of gas and just couldn't do it anymore, and it was kind of a blessing in disguise. So, you know, Coach Mike Barber and his staff and those players, they did so much to get us over the hump, and now we're back home. So it's to echo what John said, it doesn't matter what we're teaching in, it's where we're at. So we're back home.
Back at the Swamp. All right, I want to close with the wide shot, if we can, from the back of the room, because I want to personally thank, once again, Chuck Bourque, Chris St. Martin, and the whole staff, Joe Jevick you see up here, and Beth in the audience, and just the entire staff at St. Martin and Bourque. You know, we cover many news stories during the year where they're very generous and give to a whole bunch of people. And I always stress, they don't have to do it. They want to do it. And it's an unbelievable act of generosity. And once again, a lot of kids at Close Up get to go enjoy themselves and learn because of the generosity of St. Martin and Bourque. So thanks again to the law firm. We'll take a short break. More right here from Bayou Time. Don't go away.